story I wrote about the Tunde Onakoya guy?
No, I did not read the story. But I know.
It's not about Boya Omo story or not. I was just hoping that you did.
No, I did not read it.
The chess guy.
Okay, why is this my?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank Donga. You are already listening to Boom Radio. Just leave the dial there. Settle down. Listen to it. Open your ear. Don't touch it now. Boom Radio. Live and direct. Frank Donga in the building.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar right here on your Boom Radio NG. And my name is Dolupo Balogun. Welcome. How you doing today?
Hello. Welcome. My name is Tokunbo Ojekunle. Glad to be here again. Let's go.
My name is Sola Rogers. It's always a pleasure to be at the bar. Drinkless bar.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about a few things today. That quite a number of things. I hope that we have time to get through at least most of them, if not everything. That's just about Open University. There are updates about a lot of things that we had talked about in the last couple of days. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. The CBN is in the news. Tunde Onakoya's attempt to break a world record is also in the news. There's so many things that we're going to be talking about. Some people their office for Israeli-Palestine war has now rendered them jobless.
The word that does not concern them.
Anyway, that and a lot of other things we're going to be talking about today at the bar. So please sit back, relax, and let's get right into today's show. Now, as we're going on today's show, we're going to be starting quickly with the first question. Should Open University be admitted to the NYSC? Apparently, I'm not even sure it's a question anymore, as the president has now asked the Ministry of Education. This news, I think, broke yesterday evening. For people that listen to the news, it was on the news. They had now asked the Ministry of Education to find ways and standardize it so that these people also have the opportunity of serving their motherland.
The reason why it's still a question for me is because why was it not in the past?
Why now?
And the fact that they made a pronouncement about it does not mean that we all have to take it hook, line, and sinker. So why can't we question the plan and look for the reasons why, so that in the process we get educated and we also inform people. So yeah, so should it be like, if you are going to find out about that, then you must also go back to what is an open university, what's the whole concept of the open university.
Yes, I agree with you. We need to get to that foundational expressions which will help us determine where. If it's a directive from the top, it has to be executed. But for our knowledge base, we want to know exactly why this had happened. I know from way back, it was just an opportunity for those who could not really attend the institutions of higher learning, the universities. They would have loved to, and many of them were workers. They were actually working, full-time workers, civil servants, probably directors, even as far as directorate, and the younger ones also who found it extremely difficult to walk through the institutions, the gates of higher schools. So the creation of NOW probably at that time answered the NOW question in its growing days, in its teething days, and gradually for functions maybe, and gradually we ask questions about how impactful have they been, how result oriented, and that's where the next question would come: what have they? How are they seasoned out to get to where they are, and the products? How effective have they been?
Okay, so now that makes sense, because now the issue is that what's the standard that is being put out there? What's the point of the Open University? What does he do? Does he make more people have opportunity to go to university, especially a lot of people that do not a lot of people that are not, what's the word now, that are working and all that? It makes it easier, which is my concept, or not my concept, is the same concept of what we know as distant learning in universities. Yeah, it's not the same as your typical school, which if I'm correct, I think the distant learning institutions as well, they do not also go for NYSC, they do not go for law school and all that, and which now brings up the question, because in this at this conversation, the president has also said that finally graduates of National Open University can also now finally attend law school. And my question is, take for example, in Nigeria, you can't successfully practice law without attending and passing law school. So it's almost like you're boxing people into a corner. What's the point of reading law for 5 years? I know that the whole point, I know a lot of people go for this National Open University, go to for distant learning due to the fact that they just need the degree maybe for promotion and all that. I get that point, yeah. But people should still be able to have a choice where, take for instance, a lawyer should still be able to say, you know what, I'm packing up whatever it is that I'm doing right now, and I'm going to start a law career. Whatever age they are, it's their right. So my question is now, what was now the point? At least give people that option. But at that point, you have officially made people, you have boxed people into a corner. Like you said, even other than law, the other courses that are there, that you can't go for NYSC. Even in Nigeria, it will take a lot. People that did not go for NYSC, it's more difficult to get jobs. Jobs that are not even plenty anyway. So the fact that you even do NYSC, easy disqualification for you.
Yes, go ahead.
What's the sense in it?
That's landing. You know, my mind flows back to the heydays when it was started, and I do not think we had a kind of a sitting arrangement whereby we discussed the issues around the courses that now could really offer. Because I'm not a lawyer, and I know that there are some intricacies involved in you going through the learning stages and attending the law school. There's so many things attached to it. Why would you look at it and say, no science subjects there, science disciplines, right? You can't go through now and say you want to be a doctor. You can't say you want to be a doctor and attend now.
No.
It's not possible for you to do that. So I think that from the onset, there are some courses that should have been, carefully exempted from it. Any lawyer listening now, I do not know, I don't have any proof, but I think they would have a kind of difficulty putting through somebody who went through the now situation, all right, and still attending the law school. There are some things that particular person would need as extra courses or extra
maybe
attention.
Not. It's probably
and maybe not. Yes.
Maybe not, but it probably be a huge culture shock, because there's no distant learning form of law school. You are in classes all the time. So I think that could do it. So now, as far back as 2017, I saw a publication where the Senate approved NYSC for Nigerian Open University graduates. Basically, they were amending the laws, which this law was supposed to enable tertiary institutions, now graduates go to law school and attend the NYSC. The problem, according to them, were like that. For example, law school and NYSC had said they made two statements. According to the chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund, then
yes,
Jibrin Barrow had said that the objectives of the bill include to amend the existing legislation with a view to removing the perception of the public about the university in respect of the word correspondence. The word correspondence gives the impression that the university is not a full-time university and as such seen as part-time. So he's saying that according to NYSC and law school, those were the bases, that these people are part-time students. So they're not, what's the word now? They do not qualify
to even attend both the NYSC and the law school.
And the law school.
In those days, okay.
So, but my issue is that since 2017, how come after this law was amended, how come we're just having this conversation now in 2024? That's about 7 years in between. So what exactly are we saying that the NYSC and the law school, because even the law school, they just finally started agreeing that they should go to law school?
I think a lot of back and forth will have still been going on up until now. For the president to have now said, okay, let them go ahead and do this and do this. It must have been on the table for quite a while. And that while is wild because many people will have been shortchanged, so to speak, up until this very moment. And those people who can talk are really people in the law profession, those who teach, those who lecture, the professors in that square, who would know what it is to miss out of a law school situation and to also have full education if it comes to having the basics of what the universities would have given you. Would now itself as NOUN give such rigorous training? How do we treat simulations? Okay, yeah. How do we? There's a lot to the bargain. I'm not running now down. It's my opinion, but I think honestly we would have done a lot of work on better thing if we had thought through at 2017, thought through the details at that time, just as you said, Dolupo. And up until now, what have we been doing? Maybe now it's the time. But even now, we should think about the future for those who are still there and those who are yet to join now, because a lot of people will still be joining now.
Okay.
That's you overusing the phrase, the word, the letter, the acronym, and the mnemonic noun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's deliberate.
I know.
Okay, so moving on from that quickly.
So
you want to say something?
So the whole thing, I've always believed that in life, that we must always look at things extensively and from a very wide range of things. You know, for example, if you take a look at the number of students that are being turned out in Nigerian secondary schools, do we have enough universities to cater to them? Private and commercial, private and government owned. Do you understand? Do we have the capacity? Especially when you take a look at the number of people who buy the entrance exams forms, do they have enough space for them? And that's why even some of the schools are at full stretch. Before you know it, there's a class of 5,000 people and there's only one lecturer, no microphone, no public address system, and he's going to teach them. What are they going to learn? Then they come out and we say that they are not properly trained. They can't be properly taught or trained because the schools are overpacked. So there are other ways to look at it. A correspondence university or whatever. You know, the concept of the NOUN university is a beautiful one. The way they carried it out is nice, could be better. But the whole idea was flexibility. That's why they don't offer all courses, but it's about flexibility. The fact that students can work and school, the fact that workers can work and school, that is the whole concept of NOUN. But when you don't have enough regular universities, people will look for admission every and anywhere. I know people in 1 year that have written exams to get into the university, the polytechnic, the monotechnics, and the college of it. One person. All because this person just wants to go to school. So at the end of the day, you find out that, okay, what course are you going to study? Any course that you are given.
You're given, yeah.
So we must cater to all of these people, because at the end of the day, some people even mistakenly find their way into a career path.
True.
You get. And
True.
again, how many people are working with the degrees that they graduated with, especially in a country like Nigeria? It's a question. How many people, look around you, how many people actually read this course and that's what they are living with or they are practicing? You get. So education is a continuous thing, be it formal or informal, and that's the beauty of this thing. So they must have not been captured for some of these prerequisites for people to go to another level, because that was not the concept when it was started. But we evolve and we get better. So should they be allowed to be a part of the NYSC? Yes, if they still fall within the age range and the prerequisites of the NYSC. I think it's something that should happen, because in this situation, you show another path to people who do not have, the gravitas or the financial wherewithal or whatever to get it from a regular university.
Okay, now we'll see where all this is going. We know that we definitely will follow this matter, and especially with if really and truly the NYSC, because at this point I think that also the NYSC also needs to reply. What exactly are they now officially saying that now students will be able to serve? Now, moving on from that quickly, another very interesting thing that is happening at the moment is a Nigerian is set to break another Guinness World Record, and it is for playing chess. Basically for playing chess is attempting to play chess for 58 hours straight at the Times Square in New York. Is supposed to play chess, is supposed to beat everybody, basically defeat everybody, and basically play for 58 hours
58 hours
straight. Yeah.
Okay, that's a record, right?
Yeah, that's the record he's trying to break.
Tunde Onakoya, amazing guy. Started from the lowest of all lows. He started when he ran into some kids on the street, and they turned out to be indigent. They were more or less from a very poor background, and he himself was struggling then, but he took them in. Went to their parents and he started teaching them chess, and that gave him an idea of how he could use chess to lift people out of poverty, really and truly in practical terms. And so he started Chess in Slums, and Chess in Slums started taking the game of kings to the slums, and he expanded it, and he added a little bit of education to it, critical reasoning, and there's this other mathematical course that he was teaching them. And the biggest blow up for him was when he took chess to Oshodi. And everybody knows how notorious Oshodi is in Lagos, or was, as the case may be. And there and then, the people who they call area boys, he courted them and made them their security agents. And he got a couple of kids, taught them chess, and got them accommodation, got them education. One of them is in America with him as we speak. Yeah. And barely weeks after, one of those guys was already coding. He was already building websites for a guy that was sleeping under the bridge in Oshodi.
Interesting.
When you're looking for practical results, this is one thing that Tunde Onakoya has done. So, and is that support, a lot of support, When he did the Oshodi thing, it brought celebrities to Oshodi. Patrice Evra, a French footballer, came to play chess there. the French ambassador, the Canadian, a lot of people started going to Oshodi.
Yeah.
Oshodi was a dreaded place, and people started going there.
Yeah.
And one of the things I liked about him was he has this Yoruba cap that he wears, this Ashoke, and he sells it to raise money for his project. And he also says, we are all area boys, because, look, you have an opportunity to be here because of the kind of upbringing that you had.
Yeah.
And this is massive. So now, I can go on and on about Tunde, but the thing that he's trying to do now is to play chess undefeated. Most importantly, undefeated for 58 hours at the Times Square in New York City. And yesterday he played with Sean Martinez. Sean Martinez is a national champion in America. And he beat him.
So apparently, according to they're actually a team.
Come on.
The whole concept is they're supposed to actually play as a team of two players. Yes, Sean Martinez is also supposed to play with some other people and defeat those people. But they're also supposed to play with each other as well. And he actually defeated him. So if they actually win, both of them will hold the record title together.
So when he also played a grandmaster, and I think there are only 4 ever in the history of chess. There are only 4 or 5 black grandmasters, and Tunde beat the guy a couple of days ago before he started this.
Before this,
when he got to America about 2 weeks ago, he played one street chess champion. He beat the man. Then the man now went to his own master. You know, like they're doing all those Chinese movies. Master, somebody beat me. He said, who beat you?
Who beat you?
Tunde beat me.
Tunde beat me.
Oh my God.
Why you not bring Tunde here? And Tunde, of course, you know now, Tunde.
Drama,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
You know, and he has the Nigerian flag in the backdrop.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Dekunle Gold has been there to see him physically. Then, before you say, I hope you won't lose your chain of thought. I hope you won't.
I know I won't. Go ahead.
Is that a lot of a lot of commendations? The Lagos State Governor has tweeted at him. Yemi Osinbajo, former Vice President, has tweeted at him. Atiku Abubakar has tweeted at him.
The current Vice President.
Kashim Shettima tweeted first. Then Atiku Abubakar, Yemi Osinbajo. I mentioned Sanwo-Olu, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. It's not that. The British High Council, the US
mission, everybody in Nigeria.
Everybody's like jumping on the bandwagon.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful, and at least we're seeing Guinness World Records that actually kind of not just make sense alone. They're also supposed to help raise $1 million for children in less privileged. So it's
across the world.
The world. So it's
a global project. As at last time I checked, which was like 5 hours ago, then he was on the 15-hour mark. He took his first 30 minutes break because you are entitled to 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So he accumulated it 30 minutes, which is the max you can do, and took a 30 minutes break and went back and he's still beating people. And as at that time, they had raised about $22,000.
Absolutely.
There's a website that we also put on our own website so that people can go and donate.
So as at 2 hours ago, he has hit the 20-hour mark.
Is that 20 miles?
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say was I attended a secondary school where it was almost like you are left out if you don't know what chess means, you know, and it was really interesting. And from the small age, right, at that time, I realized that it was more than the chessboards. A chess guy must be a thinking person, somebody who articulates thoughts long before they happen. And that was what we got to know. And so if anybody is going to be a master in it for me, at my age, friends I had who are really good, okay, we are friends for life because I just respect them for that. For this, I give this guy kudos, I give him respect, and we wish him well. He's got to go. He's not going to come empty-handed.
Oh, yes. We definitely
everybody,
wish him well.
the whole of Nigeria and Africa, they're all rooting
for him. Now, let's move on quickly from that. And let's move on to a very interesting topic that has got a lot of people talking, especially on social media for the past. Even though there are a lot of topics that we're going to talk about today that are on social media anyway. This that kind of really affects Nigeria is the issue of the Naira and the strength that the Naira is gaining now. For the past 2 days, if I'm correct, there's been a lot of narrative that Nigeria is using its foreign reserves to defend the Naira. And there's been a lot of talk of people saying, okay, now when they finish depleting the money, what else is used to defend the Naira? As of yesterday, the CBN governor, who was at an IMF meeting, I think in the US, now broke a few things down and said that Yeah, so there was a bit of depletion in the foreign reserve, but he is saying that it has nothing to do with the Naira. That it's basically whatever is happening with the Naira at the moment is policies that are working. That debt had to be paid. In fact, he said that you just don't announce some of these things, but that in the past 2 days, about $600 million had been injected back into the foreign reserves, but nobody is carrying that story. But so like that things are not as doom and gloom as the way everybody is talking about it.
This is one of the most politicized economic issues ever in the history of Nigeria, in recent history of Nigeria. It is being politicized to the point where people will leave logic and facts and just go after sentiment and all. You cannot discuss this without talking about how low the Naira fell a few weeks ago. The Naira fell to the point where it was close to 2,000 Naira to $1. It was way over 1,940 something Naira at some point. And everybody was wondering what was going on, especially when we know that the dollar value is a campaign point in every Nigerian election.
Yeah.
And this is a president that claims he knows a lot about the economy. So under your watch, the Naira took a plunge, largely because you decided to take the most dangerous decision any president could take by floating, the Naira as against the dollar. But after all said and done, a lot of things have been done. We forget that when this same government came in, Nigeria was owing a lot of foreign businesses. They had transacted business in Nigeria and they couldn't repatriate their funds. As at that time too, we also forget that Nigeria also signed deals with the Afrexim Bank and the other African bank, the one with the Akinwumi.
African Development Bank.
Yeah, ADB, Afrexim, ADB, and there's another. We were signing deals that would bring in forex into Nigeria. Then they started restructuring all the ways that people could send money in. Then they started paying the ways and means that had gone to very crazy levels. And in all of this, I'm wondering why people would only equate it. And I know why they did that. So, there is a foreign news platform that seems to have opened a Nigerian office. They never used to write about Nigeria like this, but in the last 5 to 6 months, there is a Nigerian story every day or every other day. And they are the ones that made this reference that Nigeria is depleting its foreign reserve at an alarming rate, worse than they've done in 4 years. And I'm looking at it like, you're writing this just as when the dollar is falling. But you have to punch holes, because what made the dollar fall to me and made the Naira rise is the fact that people believe more in Nigeria now. The Naira was just voted as one of the best performing currencies in the world.
It is. And a few months ago, it was the worst. It was the worst.
Yes.
So, there's a Yoruba saying, "Ajekwela na omokule ni," that how come it's now that the Naira is now becoming stronger, that you are saying that the foreign reserve is being depleted to back up the Naira? But the facts do not speak to that. The entire monies that the CBN has sold, especially to the BDCs, forms less than 3.5% of the total value of forex that has been traded in Nigeria in the last 4 months.
So why this story?
Not even 5% of the 17 point something trillion that has been traded. Only $500 and something million was pumped in by the CBN. That was not enough to bring down the cost. There are other things that were done, and I believe that largely it had to do with investor confidence, amongst other things. Don't forget now that the subsidy is about to pay off. The refineries are about to really start requiring less and less dollars. When that happens, the Naira will rise more. Nigeria now has another private airline taking people to London. One of the busiest routes ever. In the history of Nigerian air travel, Lagos-London is the busiest. There's no other destination.
Affordable too.
And they don't need the dollar to buy that. And they don't need to repatriate for anybody.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a ripple effect because the other airlines are now forced to reduce their prices, which means that even when you want to fly other airlines, you need less forex. So at the end of the day, all of these things is just going to become something that shows that we need less and less forex in Nigeria. Remember that the EFCC has really taken up the case of people who are dollarizing the Nigerian economy also. All of these things will definitely lead to something, won't it?
It would.
Some of the policies that the government has started in the shipping industry and the maritime industry also points to less and less requirement for dollars. Why won't the dollar fall? Why won't the Naira rise? But we have to politicize and say that they're using the foreign reserve. But the foreign reserve is there for this same purpose.
That's part of the
and
reason.
It's not only Nigeria that everybody does it. Globally, every CBN, I think there's about a $1 trillion foreign reserve.
They go through that phase.
So everybody has
they
foreign reserves, and and that's what it's there for. And it's not only in dollars too. They stock gold and other things too.
Anyway, you want to say something?
Yes, quickly. Just a lot of information Shola has reeled out now brings to mind this foreign something writing something about Nigeria or whatever.
Oh, the media, the foreign media platform.
Now this is a shot at the information ministry.
Yeah.
We must do something about our own communication within and outside. Somebody's got to be speaking regularly about on these things because it's important. It's important. If not for the trip they took recently, most of this thing we will not be aware
Nobody
of.
will know a lot of these
we
things.
won't be aware of
I
it.
totally agree with you. Any which way, let's move on quickly from that and let's talk about a few things from the army. The army has now confirmed soldiers involved in the alleged theft case involving Dangote refinery. So a couple of weeks ago, there were talks of theft that I think was foiled at the Dangote refinery. Now the army is now saying that there are about 2 soldiers that were involved in that.
I like this new Nigerian army. I say new because they're more open now to communication and everything. I think they've also found out that if you don't put out the right information, because even if with the information that they're putting out, people are still distorting facts. So it's better that you preempt them by putting out. So I like the way that they brought this out. And I also know that they don't play around with discipline because it's not enough to publicize. There are rules, and the army within itself also has its own rules guarding these things. I hope these guys really face the book quick.
Okay, now still talking about the army a little bit. I don't know if we'll call it good news. It's pretty much good news. As troops of Nigerian army deployed in the northeast have announced the rescue of Lydia Simon, one of the Chibok girls who had been held captive for about 10 years. It was said that when she was rescued, she was 5 months pregnant. And she had 3 children.
All within 10 years.
10 years is a lot of time.
No, I'm not saying it's short. It's just
Sad.
It's a shock, yeah. It is shock. Okay, circumstances where how she was found.
Yeah, it was basically
An operation.
And she was
She was rescued.
The terrorists were there and they were neutralized and she was rescued.
Okay, well, while Tokunbo gathers his thoughts, this is good news, no matter how you look at it. Although it has a lot of undertones, at least for our family, they'll be glad that she's going to be brought back to them. And I know that the army already has something in place. They don't just take them and dump them, there's a system in place now. There's some processing that has to be done and everything, A part of me really wishes that all the men involved in this, could be rounded up. But sadly, some of them are already toast anyway. But it's sad how they disrupted the life of these women forever. They left as girls and came back as women. It's so sad.
Woman of 4 children. Wow.
Are they going
And
to get
remember
out of
that
this?
at this point they were secondary school girls.
Yes.
So they're basically teenagers at that
Yeah,
point.
if you look at a few of their colleagues that made it to go school in America and all of that, and look at that, and you understand, okay, this is what these people
This
could have
person,
become.
yeah, it's such a sad one. Anyway, let's move from that and let's go up to a bit of updates of stories that have been happening that we've been talking about throughout the week. One of it is the EFCC and the former governor of Kogi State. So yesterday there was just how EFCC laid siege on his house, which I actually said I felt that EFCC was doing too much because really.
Why? Okay, go ahead. Let's learn the story.
Yeah, but you asked a good question too, so
Yeah.
she will respond.
Let's learn the story.
Yeah,
first.
so now he has now been arraigned today in court by the EFCC in his absence. They're also talking about if he does not show, they're probably going to involve the military to get him arrested. He is claiming that there's an injunction that they cannot arrest him. There's a court injunction that they cannot arrest him. So, which he put out a statement yesterday, but EFCC saying that they cannot stop. Unfortunately for the former Kogi governor, the Attorney General of the Federation has also put out a statement and saying that if he is not guilty, he should surrender himself. That
So question like, why is he running around?
Exactly, that the EFCC is just doing their job and they should not be obstructed.
The most worrisome part of this story about the two Kogi state governors, because I've brought in the current one into it. In the press statement that was released by the EFCC last night, it is alleged that the current governor of Kogi, who has immunity from being prosecuted or arrested, left everything that he was doing in Kogi State. He had just appointed 2 new commissioners. I saw the pictures yesterday, and got to Abuja. As at the time that was happening, we had already been informed that the EFCC had cordoned off the street where the former governor Yahaya Bello was staying.
Yeah.
And there was a crowd there, his supporters and all of them were out there. Then the current governor breaks through this cordon, and the EFCC had to stand down. And again, you know what shocks me the most is how they both use law enforcement. They're carrying guns. The governor's crew have their own guns too, and they are both working for Nigeria. Then the governor allegedly breaks through. I saw the videos anyway. Through the cordon.
Yes.
And a few moments after, his convoy leaves. It is assumed that this time the convoy left heavier than it came in, because it is alleged that they left with
The former
the
governor.
former governor.
Yeah, there's stories of
Him
how
being-
he's in the government house in Kogi State now.
Now, him being with the governor means that the EFCC had to respect that and stand down, because if they had tried to use force,
It's a whole governor.
it's something else entirely. We should not be here. Look, whatever your political leanings or your affiliations are, when it comes to matters of alleged corruption, please let the law take its full course. If your hands are clean, you will not spend a day more than you should spend in detention. In recent times, the immediate past governor of Anambra was invited.
Yeah.
He was about to
It's-
leave Nigeria.
It's not even a new thing.
He was invited.
I don't think that is so
And he left.
difficult. Like
They held him, spoke to him, and he left. Do you understand? The current governor of Rivers State, they were looking for him before. He's now a governor. At least the stories are there. I'm not the one that put the story
you
out
had
there.
to put that. You had to.
No,
keep
no,
that.
don't say this. Oh, was
You
it
had-
not?
My
Was it not a person of interest?
My
Yeah.
question
And
is
he's now a
this.
governor.
Why-
So why should the current
governor
of a Kogi
going there
Double
stop
into
from doing their job against the former
otherwise
governor?
Otherwise, Shola.
Is that why he got the job?
Otherwise, Shola.
Is he there to serve the former governor or serve the people of Kogi
Otherwise,
State?
Shola, he has an idea. of what's happening.
Is this Oga now? Any which
He
way,
has an
so we'll
idea
be
of
seeing
what's
He
what
was a commissioner under himself.
we will
So he
see
has an
where
idea.
all this drama is going.
If you have nothing to hide, though,
If you, well, really,
It's
if you
not
have
good for the
nothing to
polity.
hide,
It's not
exactly.
good for the polity. The same government.
Anyway, we'll see where all that is going to. Still sticking to the courts. Interestingly, the APC earlier today had petitioned the National Judicial Council over Kano judgment suspending Abdullahi Ganduje. You know, that for people that do not know, there's been a lot of back and forth with the people in his ward suspending him. And basically, you know that your ward, as much as no matter how big you are, your ward, when it comes to politics, your ward has the power. And once you are sacked, and that's it. Now, the APC had dragged Justice Usman Nahaba of the Kano State High Court before the National Judicial Council for granting an ex parte order restraining the party's national chairman from further parading himself as the party leader. This was what we had heard earlier in the day, only for us to now see that a federal high court has now nullified that court judgment.
I'm sorry.
And you know, my issue is that why, and I think we had talked about this earlier, and I'm going to say it again, how court case, because we know that there's only one Supreme Court. There are only a few appeal courts. You don't even have appeal courts in every state. We just have it basically in regions. So most of the time, you see a lot of conflicting judgments from the high courts. Same case, two different people will carry same case to two different high courts in two different states, and they have different judgments. It's something we see all the time. When is this nonsense going to stop? I remember that the Chief Justice of Nigeria talked about sanctioning judges who do this, because once there is a judgment, I don't think that you should sit on the same case anymore.
You know, for me, I'm not even going to dabble into this judicial mess. I'm just wondering, because, if you've been following us all through this week, we talked about, the volatile nature of politics can be in Kano if we're not careful. But what I even want to say is that, why does anybody feel the need to remove Ganduje before he can answer to questions that the state government want to ask him? Being the chairman of APC does not give him any immunity whatsoever. He's not immune to being prosecuted. So all these things, I see that it's political.
It is.
And what should be important to us is that, the current governor, regardless of his party, he's saying that they have a case against the former governor. Why is it that governor that is pushing this case? It's EFCC that is pushing the case of Kogi. You don't understand?
Yeah.
If EFCC says
it should be the
there's
EFCC,
an alleged 84 point something
it should be
billion
EFCC that is pushing it, not the state.
What is the matter in Kano that EFCC cannot follow up to?
Interestingly, and I think I get today, the court's judgment that the Federal High Court was talking about. The Federal High Court, according to, in layman's terms, they're basically saying that when you say people should maintain status quo, it is before anything happened. Not that upholding is not about upholding is suspension. It should be maintaining status quo as before. Nobody is suspended. The ward people, the members of the ward are not suspended. The chairman is not suspended. Everybody is not suspended until there is a judgment, not upholding a suspension and saying that they should maintain status quo.
I see chess again being played. And the chess that being played now is not looking good at all.
It's not making sense.
The judiciary should help us out.
I think there is a lot of work that they need to do.
And work around these things. Give a judgment, another court somewhere gives a counter judgment on the same issue.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree with you. Now, so, quickly, I'm still talking a bit about politics. The a PDP caucus has now backed the acting chairman, Damagum, to continue as the acting national chairman. And this is interesting because the PDP meeting that happened yesterday, a lot of people have been, it's quite interesting as the FCT minister was seated at the meeting. There are videos of it. You would not expect someone like that to be at the meeting.
To be there.
It seems to be a man of his word that he's not going to leave the PDP. But he's probably is choking some people at this point.
Yeah, in fact, the meeting looks funny to me. They probably would have other agendas written around this particular meeting. What was their goal? Was it to check him out, or to check something? Just looks funny about the setting of the meeting for me.
For democracy to thrive as structured in a country like Nigeria and the US, where we borrowed this presidential system of government from, and even the unitary system that they practice in the UK and other countries, for it to thrive, you need a vibrant opposition. You need an opposition, sensible one, not some of these ones that our people are doing. You need an opposition that will sit down and, ask the right questions and task the government of the day. What criticism does. The instant I learned how to use criticism, my life got better. A lot of people don't like being critiqued or being criticized. But guess what? You learn. Because the person watching you is seeing things that you can't see. So, for the good of Nigeria, I don't care if it's APC that is president today, or Labour, or PDP, or AAA, or whatever. The opposition is as important. But look at our opposition. Labour Party, implosion imminent. PDP, perambulators. You know what that means? Field day for APC.
It's scary.
Look,
It's scary.
if you have
because
only 5,
no opposition will exist after a while.
yes,
So
if you have
just
only
have-
5,
yeah,
if
you
you
gotta
have
have
only
just
5
the
vibrant
center
Labour Party members in Senate, you can move mountains.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Forget all this drama and all these things that you are hearing and they are saying. So, PDP, get it right for your own good and for the good of Nigerians. We need a vibrant opposition.
So we will see where all that is going to. But before we leave politics, we're going all the way to Kaduna State, where there's been a lot of drama for the past couple of days. It started with the governor announcing the debt profile of the state, saying that the former governor, who we thought was his ally, which, when you think about it, whatever he said, if it's not a lie, there's nothing wrong with it. Where he talked about the debt profile of the state and how it basically is the second highest. Is the second highest in the whole country, after Lagos State. And that had now prompted the House of Assembly to say that they wanted to probe and check the spendings of the former governor El-Rufai between 2015 and 2023. Those are the 8 years he was governor. And now his son decided to do.
Whose son?
Oh, Governor El-Rufai's son, who's a House of Rep member, actually.
Okay.
And he tweeted, and I quote, yesterday, started from, "Thank you, please let's fight." Second one ignorant former speaker that was slapped by a former speaker that cannot speak English. Shall we begin with basic this incompetent bastards? Okay, am I supposed to say that?
Okay, you're not supposed
You're
to.
not supposed to, but you dropped it though.
On Malam's
Yeah.
honor and incompetence, let's discipline a assembly on ignorance. Let's fight, please. He now goes ahead, according to the Kaduna State Assembly, goes ahead to send private messages to the Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, attacking the man, giving it to the man black and blue, like how they have the audacity to question.
That's Malam's son, right?
Yes, the spendings and things of his father. Now, the Kaduna State Assembly, or the Kaduna Speaker, has now warned him that he's threatening the House of Assembly members. Y'all are quiet.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Tokunbo's response.
No, I'm quiet because naturally you can close your eyes or the whole bow. You know where I'm going to swing to, because already I'm a little bit picked. I'm really picked. You know, some people forget that words are like eggs. Once you drop them, you can't pack them back in the shell. If a young man and you see those things and you have actually written those things and referred to those people in such manner, you forget that politics has a future. You forget that the Google never forgets. You forget that people can recall these things. I believe was too harsh and too blatantly open with those words. They're not very, very uncomplimentary for me.
Let me see if I can learn to be as brief as possible. Let me try and still not miss out a few things. I would like to ask the current governor of Kaduna, who says, I'm asking him now, who says that, having a debt profile is a problem?
Exactly.
Who says it's a bad thing? Who says having a debt profile close to Lagos is bad? The reason why I'm saying this is that for me, as a business person now, if I have money, if I have access to borrow, I will borrow and invest it and make the money back. Except you are telling us, sir, that all these monies that were borrowed were not deployed the way they're supposed to be deployed.
That's
hence
the only
need
issue, yeah.
for a probe. But always I've seen it like twice that their debt profile is close to Lagos. How is that a bad thing? How is it a bad thing? Honestly. So put that aside. 2, it is obvious that there's been Bukola Medubi says words are eggs. Yes. And I know she's referring to some of the things that the honorable member said.
The member had said.
Yeah, he's supposed to be honorable. He's supposed to be.
But really?
Yeah,
He's
supposed to be.
He's just expressing himself.
Yeah, but words are eggs indeed. Because once it breaks, you can't put it back together again.
Just as I said.
Now, the current governor, Ubasani, and the former governor, they're friends. They are, boys. They are buddies.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I keep pointing it out. They share a common deputy governor. It shows you how close they are.
Yeah.
Do you understand? He is the mentor to this guy that is abusing their government now. He will more or less sponsor part of his campaign, as revealed by El-Rufai's son himself. So this is a family problem that they have brought outside. How does it affect the people of Kaduna positively is my own concern. Now, do your probe. And if Malam El-Rufai has committed any infractions, let him pay for it. Do you understand? Bello, I think it's Bello that is his first name, Malam El-Rufai's son.
Yes, Bello
He
El-Rufai.
needs to tone it down a bit.
He can pass across the message without being so brash. Yes,
You could have still said what you wanted to say, because it's almost as if you're saying, oh, they shouldn't probe. In fact, I'm the one. And I know he loves and trusts his father. What he should be saying is, go ahead with your probe.
Because the honest truth is that the owner of this gist has not said anything.
The funny thing is, when the man was handing over, he actually said it that, look, we borrowed a lot of money. So it's not news.
Yeah, I don't think that
1 year after,
because someone borrows money shouldn't be the issue. We should be way past.
The question is, did he use the money for what he didn't hide it?
Yeah.
He didn't say, look, use paper to cover this. You understand? Everybody was commending him now.
You notice how the son started it. Let's fight. He said, let's fight.
Unnecessary though.
Anyway, yeah, I think is unnecessary.
Why,
but it is what it is. We'll see where this conversation is going to. Now, before we leave, we have about 6 minutes left. But before we leave, a very interesting thing happened where Google has now announced that it had terminated the employment of 28 of its employees after these people participated in protests. So they're protesting because the parent company is supposed to have a cloud contract with the Israeli government.
Okay.
And they're saying that these people decided to picket a few of their branches, saying that they should stop the the contract because of the Israeli-Palestine war. So according to the statement, the company statement said physically impeding other employees' work and preventing them from accessing our facilities is a clear violation of our policies and completely unacceptable behavior.
You should sue them too, sir. You should sue them. After sacking them, you should sue them.
Like you said, it's like you have seen
you have work in
filling station.
Unipetrol after all doesn't exist anymore. I don't get it. Look,
so bad.
I get the fact that people need to protest, but this was a dumb one. Like, very dumb. Diggity dumb. What were you thinking? Please.
Can we eclipse it quickly?
But you know, the truth is that, so I feel that when you protest against your company or something, I think that you can protest about conditions of work and labor and all that. But really and truly, in the grand scheme of things, how is it your business?
You know, you work in a refinery and they are going to supply oil to everybody.
You now say that, no, it's clean energy that you put.
Okay.
You guys are breaking this thing down too heavy.
What do you say? It's the same thing.
We have plenty of stories. Plenty. Let's move on to the next.
Let's eclipse this thing. foolish thoughts.
Very, very foolish.
I agree with Tokunbo.
Very, very foolish. Any which way, the Taliban has now pulled 2 TV channels that are saying that these channels violate Islamic values in the country.
I think the Taliban has done well. Don't stop there. Pull the internet. Pull your teeth, pull your fingers, pull everything. You people, take your country back. Yeah, you understand? Keep going backwards. I just pity the people that you are governing.
Yeah, the people that still live there.
Don't stop.
No, I think it's ridiculous.
It's only 2 stations, only 2 TV stations. Only 2. Continue. For those of you that don't know, it's sarcasm, because you people can go and cut this one out in the future now.
They claim that they had problems creating confusion among public and their owners are abroad.
All right. Okay. Congratulations to you.
And their owners stand as opponents to the Taliban government.
Next story, please.
Okay.
Just like that.
Let's eclipse.
I beg you. People that we shouldn't even be talking about.
Any which way, let's come to Nigeria, which an update of another story where a singer, veteran gospel singer, in the person of Lara George, has something to say about the issue with Pastor Paul Enenche and the lady that he embarrassed in his church about the fake testimony. Now, according to her, she definitely had a few things to say and saying that he embarrassed her in public, so he should he should apologize in public. So let me read a statement. And she said, that is not an apology. When he leaves room for doubt, you haven't apologized. WWJD. Be humble enough to apologize to her.
WJD. What would Jesus do? Which is what I said here when that story broke.
Be humble enough to apologize to her properly. Let your apology be as loud and as clear as your criticism. Nah, it's not nice. Doesn't matter who you are. We should all treat others as we would like to be treated. She doesn't speak as well as she should. Therefore, you can conclude she's telling a lie based on the way she speaks. The way she speaks is a reflection of what we have allowed in our society. Every politician you coddled instead of speaking the truth to, who stole funds that should have gone into healthcare or education or any public welfare initiative, well, that's the outcome. Graduates who speak like that. And you contributed to the condition of that society. The contributions from people like her is what has built the edifice you sit on. And while you sit there, you don't hear you speak for the voiceless or defend the helpless. Nah, it's not nice. Apologize to her properly, unequivocally. That write-up that your people did is really an insult to, on top of her injury. You know this. You will never dare address the matter that way if she was from a wealthy background. At the end of the day, the way you treat someone who you think you'll never need is a true indicator of your true character.
Now, Dolupo has just finished reading a statement put out by Lara George, and that's all we have to say.
Lara George, thank you for speaking.
Tokunbo is thanking her while we
Anyway,
listen to the other stories.
Quickly, finally, last thing before we go, a court is now announced that they are serving the late Mohbad's wife via substituted means over a DNA tussle. So apparently, Mohbad's father had gone to court asking for the DNA of the late singer's son. And they're saying, they were in court today saying that they have not been able to reach her to deliver the summons to her. Now the court has now officially said it could be sent through substituted means. It could be in the media or anything, so she cannot say she did not see it.
And again, the Champions League, it is very painful that the
two English teams are out.
So I will not be making any predictions in the nearest future. The Spanish teams and English teams, they did me in. So congratulations to the people who won.
Okay, and on that note, that is all we're able to take on the Boom Bar today. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow, Friday, for another wonderful edition of the Boom Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.
Peace.